This is the best car that was ever made. This is the Mk1 MX-5. And if you're sat there thinking, but what about the 911? But what about this? But what about this? Doesn't matter. This is better. And if you want to argue me, go down to the comments and tell me what you think, because you are wrong. The Mk1 MX-5 is the perfect car. But not this one. This one needs a bit of work to get it through the MOT. So we're going to get all that done. Welcome to Saints Fab. Now this MX-5 is actually sadly in a bad way. There's a lot that needs to be done to get this back to its prime, including things like sorting out the discolored bodywork and tidying up the interior and things like that. And I'm sure over the time that we spend with this car, there's going to be a lot of stuff that we can do to make it a lot better. And with the MX-5, there is a world of tuning out there to make these things absolutely crazy and beautiful. But that's not our priority right now. The biggest problem that we've got is down here. Let me show you. It's this. We have a rather large hole in the floor. Now, we're not going to be repairing this to showroom standard because, to be honest, I'm not the world's best welder, but we are going to get this so that it's secure and so that it will pass an MOT. Let's start stripping all this back. The carpet's out already. He did that for me to save me a job, although he did actually just cut the carpet, which is a bit of a shame, but we'll work around it. We'll get this floor cleaned out and make a start. Now, if you're doing any welding on the car, the first thing you need to do is disconnect the battery. The last thing you need is the voltage of the welder going around the circuit and popping a bunch of fuses or worse. So, first things first, let's do that. And just to be thorough, we're going to take out the connections for the ECU as well. You can't be too careful. Crap. Now that the interior is stripped, we can start really seeing how bad this is. Let me show you with the torch underneath. We got a big old hole here, and we got a big old hole here. Now, this is pretty major. It's coming up the side here as well. So what we need to do is find some good metal. You can't weld to rubbish metal. You need to weld to good metal. So we're going to use this seam, and I'm going to cut it here. I think we'll cut that. We'll cut that here, and then that will get rid of all that section. And then we're going to lose this drain hole, unfortunately, because it is in the way. Because I don't want to cut weird shapes. It's a lot easier to cut a major shape. Now the rust is stopping about here, so we're going to take it to here. We'll cut that, and then it's coming up to about here, so we'll go here, I think, along this seam line there, and that, oh god, the rain, right, so that, let's cut that out, see if the metal's good here, and see if the metal's good here, and then underneath, and we can work out if there's any more that needs to be cut, or we can start making plates. So you ever heard that expression? Well, this job grew legs. Oh, this is exactly what they mean. I've cut out this hole and I've cut out a bit on the side there. Sorry about the light underneath, but I'll show you in a sec. When I cut out this section here, it was going through to another skin. Have a look at this. Under here, there's the bit that I've cut out. And then it just keeps going. It keeps going all the way up, almost into the front wheel arch. So I think the only thing I can do now is take off the wing and see how far back this goes. Wow, I did not expect that to come undone. I expected it to just snap. Yeah, let's not speak too soon. Of course I spoke too soon, didn't I? Second time lucky? Yes! Not bad, not bad. If you're doing a wing, this is probably the worst one. This 10mm bolt right up here. I'd love to show you, but it's really difficult. But essentially, it's about here, and you get on it at this end. Well, I'm not taking the wing off anymore. I've decided to just use my torch, wedge it between the panel like this. And that just gives me enough room to get to where I need to be. So this is as far as I'm going to take it with this one. There is further problems with this car. There's some patches all down here, which are going to have to be addressed at some point. But what we need to do is get this car running and through an MOT. So we're going to go for what we've got here. Now, I've cleaned up the edges, ready for weld on this side and the other side. And the where it overlaps down at the front here, what I think I want to do is do the inside of the car first and make a patch that covers this entire section, because from the other side there's a couple of angles and things like that, and I want to be able to build off of this section to be able to do them. So I think the next thing to do would be to take a cardboard template of this, transfer it to the metal, bend it to shape, and then tack it in and see where we are. This is a big one. This is the plate made up. I think this is as close as I'm going to get without it being too difficult. I'm not going to try and get it any closer. I'm going to tack it in and then hammer it into shape. But I think, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. There's a bit of a gap down here, which I'll have to fill in. But otherwise I'm happy. Looking at it from the other side, it is a bit gappy. It's going to be a bit of work. Let's see how we get on. metal that I'm trying to weld to on the bottom of the sill is so thin from rust that I'm having to take the wing off to put another patch in. I only hope the wing comes off okay, because I've had a go at this bolt that's under here and it's already looking like it's going to be a problem. This is not going well. The front bolts on this are going to start breaking, so I'm going to have to just wedge it. In the meantime, this hole is growing, so I need to cut it out, sand it back, and see how much of it I have to replace. Now that I've got a torch charged up and I've also got an old camera stand holding this wing out, I can now see and show you the full extent. Now, that's the one that I just put in, and this is where I've had to cut it back to because it was too rotten to be welded. So there is there's a bit of solid metal here. I should be able to go from there. If I keep going, I'm going to do real damage. I mean, up there doesn't look like the most fun thing at all, and I don't think I should get involved, but I'll just fill in this hole, cut this back, and then weld all this in, and then we can get on to the rest of it. Lovely bit of cardboard aided design there. Metal cut to shape, bent into shape so it fits. All tacked in. Rubbish gasless welding by a rubbish welder. First sand and a few touch-ins. It's not pretty, it's not a show car. It is strong, and it is going to pass an MOT, and that's what we needed. Right. To do the last bit of the car, I needed to make a little right angle piece for the seam. Now, I made it out of the 2mm because that's what I had, and I've decided that it's not great. It's it would have done the job, but everything under here is 1.6 in this area, so it's going to be heavy and it's going to blow holes. So I got some offcuts of some right angle 1.6, and using this bit here, I fabricated this bit. Where is it? Here. Now, I'm sure you can see the section that I've put in, and if I come right under here, hold on. There we go. I've cut it up to the seam, and I came in with the angle grinder and flushed it all out. Now it's all welded around this end. Again, it looks rubbish because it's gasless. I will change soon. So what I need to do now is quickly run a weld down this seam to seal it all up, grind it all flush, and then I think we're going to be there with this one. Let's get this done. I think that's where we are now. That's going to be enough sanding. What I'll do next is get some hammerite on it as a protection layer, and then some sealant. What have I got? Let's have a look. And that is it for this video. This has gone really well, actually. It's not a showroom spec, it's not a concours spec by any stretch of the imagination, but it will pass an MOT, and that's what matters. That's what the goal was, and that's what we achieved. Really good news. So if you're into your MX-5s, then stick around, press the subscribe button, and come back and we shall get some more done on this car and some more MX-5s in the future. But in the meantime, thank you very, very much for watching on this channel. Really do appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.